I told you about breaking my concentration, R6. I will punish you. What is it?
Andor is one of the greatest pieces of Star Wars media ever. From its high production value to its stellar acting, I just can't help but recommend Andor to anyone who appreciates great TV. It's not just good Star Wars content, it's fantastic science fiction, period. With the best dialogue in Star Wars since the original trilogy, the series was created by Tony Gilroy, known for his work on the Bourne film series. He wrote the first 3 films and wrote and directed the 4th film. With Andor, Tony Gilroy injects a fresh perspective into the Star Wars universe by infusing it with espionage and intrigue. It's more of a spy series than the science fantasy Star Wars is usually known for.
Disney and Lucasfilm, they kept saying they wanted to do something really ambitious and really different. I'm doing the same thing I've been doing all the way my whole life. I didn't change my game to do the show.
The first few episodes unfolded slowly, but then, like the Millennium Falcon going into lightspeed, the show took off. It is an extremely well-written show. It doesn't rely too much on the original trilogy's iconography. In fact, it hardly relies on it at all. It really just stands on its own. The score by Nicholas Brittle is also fantastic. Exciting and bombastic at times, like the original Star Wars score, but also full of many unique compositions as well. Before we continue, I want to extend a huge thanks to our sponsor,
Which is Monopoly Go. Have you ever dreamt of unwinding like a millionaire? Well, I've got just the thing for you.
It also marks the 1-year anniversary of Monopoly Go. Now let's dive into my personal review. I must say, I'm absolutely hooked on this game. One of my favorite features is my ability to craft my millionaire hotel and build thriving cities. The gameplay is so smooth and engaging, with each session lasting just the right amount of time. It's the perfect escape.
I've spent hours strategizing and building my empire. A lot like the Emperor in Star Wars, except in a good way. Yeah, in a good way, because I'm a Jedi.
In Monopoly Go, the fun never stops, with exciting events happening all the time, such as the Parade Partners co-op event, which is going on right now. It's been a blast teaming up with friends and family to build empires together and celebrate like true millionaires. Open the doors to your millionaire resort today with Monopoly Go. Install the game right now and feel like a true tycoon. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code right here in the video. Don't miss out on a chance to experience luxury gaming at its finest with Monopoly Go. Thank you to our sponsor. Let's continue to talk about Andor. Now, my goal with this is not to summarize plot point by plot point every single thing that happens in the series, but rather give a general overview of each episode and what stood out to me, or what I liked about it. So general kind of spoilers, although I'm not going to get into anything too specific in case you want to check out this show for yourself. It's been out for a while. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. The series also serves as a prequel to Rogue One, directed by Gareth Edwards. Which begs the question, what made Cassian Andor such an interesting character to where Tony Gilroy wanted to make a whole series about him?
The little pieces of information that we know about him from Rogue, every single one is fascinating. Is there a character who seems as complicated and as tactically brilliant?
This is a much darker protagonist than we're used to following in Star Wars, but despite his violence, Cassian remains a sympathetic character, driven by loyalty and a sense of duty to his family and friends. Even amidst morally dubious actions, there is still an underlying sense of empathy and humanity that shines through. We also get glimpses into Cassian's backstory as a child on his home planet. We're also introduced to the strong supporting characters like B2EMO, Bix, and Cyril. In episode 2, tensions escalate as a warrant goes out for Cassian's arrest. Meanwhile, Luthen, portrayed by Stellan Skarsgård, a buyer connected to Bix, travels to Ferrix Episode 3 is the culmination of the events of Episode 1 and 2, and a climax to many of these arcs established in the first 2 episodes. The series is structured basically in 3 episode arcs for the most part. The first 3 episodes are about just establishing the characters, while also establishing that Cyril is trying to find Cassian, leading up to that confrontation on Ferrix. Episode 4 to 6 are about this heist, which Luthen hires Cassian to do. This is also when we're introduced to Daedra. Much like Cyril, Daedra is just a cog in the system of the Empire, and even though she performs these tasks for them, she has her own aspirations beyond the conquest of the entire galaxy, such as furthering her own career. Also, her boss, Major Partagaz, coupled with the amazing portrayal of the character by Anton Lesser, emerges as one of the most compelling characters in the entire show. What proceeds in the next episode is a riveting heist sequence that is one of the best set pieces in all of Star Wars. In episode 7, Cassian is suddenly arrested by Imperial officers and sentenced to prison for basically no reason. Even though he got away with a huge heist, he is made a prisoner anyway, just showing how corrupt the Empire really is. In episode 8, Cassian finds himself imprisoned on Narkina 5. And then there's Andy Serkis. His performance in the latter half of this season is just really incredible and compelling. His character is great, and the ultimate tragedy of his character's arc is so brilliantly written. This prison arc actually goes on for 4 episodes, but during this prison arc, there are other storylines going on as well. Episode 10 of the series has one of the most standout moments, not just in this series, but probably in all of Star Wars. Luthen's monologue in this scene is just so amazing and brilliant. My brain can't even comprehend it all. I can't go through this whole review without mentioning this scene. If there's one scene I had to talk about from this show, it would be this one. This scene highlights so much about Luthen's character and also about the rebellion and how it doesn't always make heroes like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Princess Leia. Sometimes it makes people into bitter, lonely old men. Luthen's monologue delves deep into the theme of sacrifice, which emphasizes the personal toll the rebellion takes on people, especially this character. He says he's made sacrifices knowing that he may never see the fruition of his efforts. He says he'll never see the sun rise. In a weird sort of way, he feels he'll never face any consequences for his actions, and so he'll do whatever it takes to accomplish his goal, even if it's morally bankrupt.
Now, the ego that started this fight will never have a mirror or an audience or the light of gratitude.
Luthen isn't putting the blame on himself, but rather the ego he had when he was a naive young rebel, which at this point, Luthen is so disconnected from. Luthen will do anything for the rebellion, even sacrifice his own men. This is again showing the moral grayness of the rebellion, much like the moral grayness of the Empire. There are good and bad people on both sides. I would say Luthen leans more toward being a bad guy than being a good guy.
So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
Cassian finally gets back home to Ferrix and reunites with his friends, but he ultimately learns of the death of his mother figure, Marva, which prompts a funeral on Ferrix. Daedra appears to capture Cassian. Meanwhile, Luthen also plans to eliminate him. A riot erupts at the funeral as Marva pleads for resistance, and in a tense final confrontation, Cassian confronts Luthen, and Cassian offers him a choice, to kill him or take him in, and we'll find out what he chose in Season 2, I guess. In a post-credit scene that escaped notice on my initial viewing, you see droids assembling machinery produced by Narkina 5 prisoners on the Death Star's firing dish. Now, there's a lot I didn't get to in this video, of course. I'm eager to see how the story is concluded. Season 1 of Andor earns a solid 8 out of 10, or 4 out of 5 stars for me.
We're searching the entire forest, troops. Let me know if anyone spots Jedi Ralph. I can't see anything out here. It's dark, and it's cold, and I want to go home. We can go home as soon as we finish our mission, trooper. Stay on guard. What's that? It's him! Blast him! No!
The Empire will never leave me alone, unless I go to the Star Destroyer and confront them myself. May the Force be with me, and with you as well.